So, what is an alpha male really? I mean, it's a term that has been, thrown around for as long as we can remember. People making up their own interpretations of it, thinking they know what it means, trying to train other young men to rise up to be the wolf within or whatever. But what is an alpha male really? I mean, in a way, sometimes I think it's like an oxymoron in itself because um, it kind of gives off the impression that you have to be something you're not in some people's interpretations, or it's based on your outward appearance, how you present yourself, what you do, sort of kind of like a fake it till you make it stance. But my question to you guys is an alpha male someone who has to prove things to other people, or is an alpha male who or is an alpha male someone who really sort of goes inwards and deals with their emotional wounds and deals with the emotional wounds that are causing them to lack self-esteem? You answer the question yourself, and I say it's almost like an oxymoron because an alpha male doesn't need a title to even sort of give him a sense of value or to sort of give him a sense of accomplishment or self-worth. To be honest with you, I don't even really like to use the term alpha male because I prefer to use the term someone who's grounded. I use the term alpha male because, just for the sake of conversation, just to sort of get my point across. But a true alpha male doesn't even need a title because they don't need anything externally outside of themselves to gain a sense of value. A true alpha male um, works from within and then allows the work that he's done within himself, the self improvement and the emotional and spiritual grounding that he's done with himself, he allows that to then affect his outer world. Because this whole thing about alpha males, the way it's depicted in mainstream society, all I see are men who just don't really know who they are and are insecure about themselves. They've not done the inner emotional work to become an actual, true, grounded man who knows who he is. So, these people who think they're quote unquote alpha males, can they actually be themselves in all situations? Can they, or are they just sort of like, doing this whole pick-up movement thing, thinking they can find value by picking up women, by getting numbers, by doing this and that, all these external things just for show? But what about? But sometimes you could arguably say, because I've spoken to many guys, and a lot of the time, if you're quite sensitive, I'd say I'm quite a sensitive person, and sometimes you can feel inside that a lot of these guys who do this pickup stuff and who would consider themselves alpha males, inside you just see in their eyes there's just a little boy who's lost and doesn't really actually have genuine self-worth and really doesn't see their own value. They feel that they need to do all these external things to find themselves. So we need to really ask ourselves, this whole thing about an alpha male is really an oxymoron when you think about it. I mean, when you really sit down and intelligently like sort of analyze it and break it down, a person doesn't need to prove something to other people. You don't need to a true grounded individual, a true grounded man is not affected so much by people's opinions of him because he knows who he is, because he's done the emotional work to get to the bottom of himself, to become more self-aware, to realize who he is, and therefore you find peace within yourself. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Even when it comes to women, you don't need to prove yourself to anybody, and it goes back to this whole thing of self-worth that I've been talking about. A man of self-worth doesn't need to do anything externally to find value, and that includes speaking to women. You speak to women because you're a heterosexual male who enjoys the company of women. It's natural as a heterosexual male to want to talk to people of the opposite sex, but you don't do it because you feel it's going to give you a sense of value, because that's just seeing women as an object, as something you see them, you see women as something you use to fill a void within yourself. So there's a lot of interesting ideas that we can sort of look at to sort of distinguish what is really a grounded individual, or quote unquote alpha male, if you will. Because it's not what I can tell you now, it's not what society have been feeding off. It's not what society, the messages that society has been putting out is not what an alpha male really is. This whole thing about trying to find our self-worth through speaking to women and going to clubs and all this stuff is all rubbish. Honestly, it's just all a load of rubbish. So I just thought I'd leave you guys with that. And don't get me wrong, speaking to women is great. I do it myself. There's a beautiful girl that I see, and then, you know, since I'm in a natural environment where I'm able to talk to her, I will do it, but not because I feel it's going to give me some kind of self-worth. That I've already found within myself. I don't need whether it be a woman or whoever to find that from, you know. So I hope that has helped you. Any men who are watching, young or older, I hope that's helped you to sort of realize that life is about doing our own emotional work. And I'll probably do a video separately about how to find that grounded, how to become grounded, and how to naturally feel that self-worth within ourselves, so we don't have to sort of do all these external things or think that we need to do external things to find our worth. So I'll probably make a separate video about that, how to actually get to that place where you feel sort of alpha male or grounded within yourself. But this is more just to sort of separate facts from fiction, basically. And I hope that any guys who watch this in the future will be helped by this, and you will come to a place where you will finally realize for the first time that you don't actually have to search outside of yourself to find value, or to look to women to find value. You need to go deep within yourself into those dark places, heal of our childhood pain and all these other things. That actually is what really genuinely gives us a sense of self-worth, not these techniques that last for a short while, and before we know it we're all over the place and we just don't know who we are. Those things might last, those little techniques that these so-called PUA artists give, or these coaches who, you know, think they know what they're talking about, those techniques might last for a short while, but you're going to burn out and you're going to realize that there's no actual real foundation, because you just really haven't done the actual emotional work, the true work to actually find out who you are, and you realize that it's not the real deal. So I'll leave that with you for now. Alright, cheers guys.